Hi, 7th graders. We're on lesson 11.4. It starts on page 591 in your textbook. We will be finding the mean, median, mode, and range of a set of data, and we can explain what happens to the mean, median, mode, or range when a piece of data is deleted or added. So I know you've worked with mean, median, mode, and range, so this is probably a review. But just to remind you, the mean is also sometimes called the average. And by the way, mean, median, and mode are all examples of measures of central tendency. And then there's also the range. So these three M's are the measures of central tendency, and we also have the range. The mean is the sum of the data divided by the number of items in the set. So you add them all together, divide by the number of numbers that there are. Median is the middle number of the data. And the mode is the number or numbers that occur the most. So I always remember mode is most. The range is the difference between the greatest number and the least number. So mean is like the average, median is middle, mode is most, and range is the difference from the high to the low. So let's find some measures of central tendency. The ages and years of the people seated at a table are 22, 18, 24, 32, 24, 18. Find the mean, median, mode, and range. So to find the mean, we add up all of the numbers. So we can see we've added up all of them. We get 138. And then we divide it by 6 because there's 6 numbers. And we get the mean is 23 years old. The median, this is super important to remember, and if I were you, I would maybe write down this example with all these numbers, and then you have all of these examples of how to find these. But I would make a note for median. It's super important that the first thing you do is arrange the numbers in order from least to greatest. Because if you look at these numbers in this order, you will get a different median than if you line them up in order. So that's the biggest mistake is that people make is they forget to put them in order. So once they're in order, then we go from the from the end. And what I usually do then is I cross one off on each end and then keep going in from the ends until I have 1 or 2 left over. If I had a number in between here, like if we had an odd number, then I would cross off the 22 and the 24, and this number, whatever it is in here, would be 23, I guess, if it was in numerical order. That would be the median. But because we have 2 numbers, we don't cross either of them off. Then we take the mean of these 2 numbers. So basically we add them together and divide by 2. Or we know that right in between 22 and 24 is 23 years old. Okay, so if you have 2 numbers, you add them together, divide by 2, because you're really just taking the mean. And then we get the median is 23 years old. The mode is, remember, the most, the number that shows up the most. So we can see that 18 shows up 2 times, and 24 shows up 2 times. So the mode is 18 and 24, or the modes. And then the range, we take the highest number, we subtract the lowest number, 32 minus 18. So the range is 14 years. So that tells us that there's a difference between the oldest person and the youngest person by 14 years. Okay, so I would like you to pause the video and find the mean, median, mode, and range of this set of data. The prices of parking at several lots are listed below. Find the mean, median, mode, and range. Round to the nearest cent. So I'm going to pull it all the way up so you can see the numbers and the spots for me to write in. There we go. Okay, so pause it and take a second to find the measures of central tendency and the range. So if we add up all the numbers, so you add them all up, and then you would divide by 6 because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. So then we get the mean is $4.04. Okay? The median, remember we need to line them up in order from least to greatest. So I know I'm supposed to have my dollar signs, but we'll put them on there to make this, appropriate. Okay, so I have them lined up in order. So then I take my pen and I start crossing off from the outsides. So then it's between $3 and $4.25. So then I add 3 plus 4.25 divided by 2. And we get approximately $3.63. So that is your median. Okay? Here's your mean. Mode would be, because $3 is the only one that shows up more than once, the mode then would be $3. And the range, oops, wrong way. We would take 6 minus 250, and we get $3.50. All right. So sometimes different circumstances determine which measures of central tendency or range is most appropriate to describe a set of data. So if we want to use using the mean is most useful when the data has no extreme values. So no values that are way, way, way below or way, way, way above. The median is most useful when data has extreme values and there are no big gaps in the middle of the data. The mode is useful when the data has many identical numbers. So let's look at this. The most common insects, here are all of the species and the number of known species in the thousands. So if we take the mean, we add them all up, divide by 6 because there's 6 numbers, it tells us the mean or the average is about 154,000, which lines up, I guess, right in this area. So I don't know if that's really the best way for us to tell because there's all these that are way below it, way below it. If we look at the median, we can line them up in order, and then we find that, so if I do those two, 120 and 140 are in the middle, so we find that the median is 130,000. So the middle then is about right there. So here's our mean. Here's our median. The mode, there is no mode because each number only occurs one time. So when there's no numbers that occur more than once, there is no mode. So no mode, so the mode doesn't help us at all. And the range, 400 minus 10, the range is 390,000. So 390,000 is way up here, really, really, really close to beetles, but that's a really, really, really big range. So beetles, butterflies, and moths are the only insects with a greater number of known species than the mean. So the mean is not the appropriate measure of central tendency, kind of like what we were saying. So it's really only these 3 are above the mean, but all of these species are below the mean. So that wouldn't be our best. And like we said, there's no mode. So the median then would tell us, or is our appropriate measure of central tendency, because the median really is right about in the middle, true to all of this data. Sometimes you'll have a set of data and the median is way, way, way low or way, way, way high, but this one is our best one because it is right in the middle. Okay, select the appropriate measure of central tendency to describe this data. So I want you to take a second and find the mean, median, mode, and range because it's good practice. And then you decide what would be the most appropriate measure. And then, so pause me and do it and then come back. So the mean, you would add them all up and divide by 6. So the mean, we get is 60. The median is 40. The mode, you should have gotten 40 as well. Oops. And then the range, 120 minus 40 is 80. So then that would be the range. Okay, so if we look at our data, most of the computers have a hard drive or have 40 gigabytes in their hard drive. We have, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of 6 have 40 gigabytes. There's only 2 that have different ones, and that's above them. So it tells us that our average or our mean is 60, but that doesn't really tell us true to the data because it tells us that most of the gigabytes are right around 60, and really most of them are actually right at 40, not even around 40, but right at 40. So this would not be an appropriate one. The median is 40, and we had just said that they're all 40, and the mode is 40. The range is 80, and that does not really tell us either because that's a lot higher than 80. So actually the median and the mode, both of them, would be the most appropriate central tendency to use to describe this data. Okay, Spencer has the following scores on 5 quizzes: 90, 85, 80, 75, and 90. If his teacher drops his lowest score, which of the following statements would be true? So what we need to do, because our answers are telling us that the mean would increase or decrease, or the median would decrease or not change, we really only need to find then the mean and the median. So I am going to make a little table. So his original and then his new mean and median. So mean, median, mean. So if you haven't figured out the mean for this data, but we would take 90 plus 85 plus 80 plus 75 plus 90, divide it by 5, and we get 84 for our mean. We would line up the numbers from least to greatest, so 75, 80, 85, 90, 90. So our median then would be, it would fall between, no, sorry, it wouldn't. It would be 85 because 85 is right in the middle. Our new mean then, because our new numbers, I'm going to write our new numbers right here, are just 90, 85, 80, and 90 because they dropped the 75 score. So our new mean is 86.25, and our new median, and I should have wrote them in order, but it should go 80, 85, 90, 90. So it'd be in between 85 and 90, which is 87.5. So then we look, does the mean decrease? Well, the mean went from 84 to 86.5. So The mean does not decrease, so we know that that does not work. Does the median decrease? The median went from 85 to 87.5, so nope. Oops. Does the mean increase? It goes from 84 to 86.25. Yes, it does, but we just want to make sure that that's the only correct answer. The median would not change. Well, the median changes, so that doesn't work either. So our answer then is B. Okay, last question. Darcy deposited $35, $10, $25, and $50 into her savings account last month. If she deposits $44 this week, which of the following statements about the data set would be true? Okay, so you're going to determine if the mean would decrease, if the mean would not change, if the median would increase, and if the mode would increase. So this time you need to find the mean, median, and mode. And you can make a table just like I did with the original and the new. So the original, you're going to find the mean, median, mode for these four numbers, and then you're going to find the mean, median, and mode when they add 44 into those four numbers. So then you really have 5 numbers. Okay? I'm not going to tell you the answer, so if you want to pause me before the video is done, you might want to do that now. But make sure that you show your work. So I need to see a table like this or something to show me that you found the mean, median, and mode and you compared them. And then I need to see the letter of the answer that you choose, and I will look at it at the beginning of class tomorrow. Okay? And make sure you go on to NICU and take the 11-4 NICU quiz, just in case if you need to go back and pause that screen really quick because you didn't. There you go. Have a super evening, and I will see you tomorrow.